how are you doing? I am so happy to be back here with you. It has been quite a few weeks here in my life and G's, and I think we're starting to wind down. It feels like I know many of you are ramping up because it's spring and going towards summer, and it's all that planting and traveling and all of that, and for us on this side, fall means soup and kind of cozy fire in the fireplace, and at least for me it seems like I wind down a bit. Not in a creative way, mind you, but in a pedal to the metal kind of way. So I am happy to be here. We are now at the end of October, and it has been an amazing birthday month. Non-stop, really non-stop. And I think it's so funny because you know, I have this thing in the middle of my brain that they every year or two they're doing an MRI, and just to make sure that it all stays the same. It's nothing, you know, I don't spend any time thinking about it except for the doctor says, oh, it's time. And they scheduled it this year for Halloween. I am going to be a little freaked out going into that tube if Count Dracula is helping me in that. I have to say, it seems a really rude day to have an MRI, don't you think? But that's how I am wrapping up October, and it has been a fabulous month. I want to thank Skeeter for the gift card that was waiting for me at Acorns and Threads. That was just amazing. I had so many birthday wishes cards, just lovely. And Greg and his wife sent me this I found it at Acorns and Threads, this absolutely, I have never seen this, but it's a sewing kit. Look at this. Is that not perfect? That's a travel stitching. So I thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you for all the cards and all the comments wishing me happy birthday. I felt the love. Let me tell you, I felt the love. I forgot to show you this sweet needle minder. Okay, put it on mute if you are offended easily. But this was given to me by a friend in the Mountain Stitchers. Mountain Stitchers is a group that Beth Twist started for us kind of local stitchers that are kind of in this little cubby hole of Oregon, and it's just been for all of us on this side of the river. Everything in Oregon is designated on what side of the river or what side of the mountain you live on, or what tree you're next to. That's pretty much Oregon. It is a state that is so amazingly beautiful and filled with beautiful people that but it is kind of nice that we have now our little Mountain Stitcher group that we get together once a month, which is really awesome. And so one of the Mountain Stitchers, God, this is so funny. It's a needle minder. And I'm just going to hold it up there, and you can stop it and read it if you want. Isn't that hysterical? Yeah. This is the Stitchin' Sisters Crafts and Notions. They have all kinds of fun things, so if you want to go check them out. So what's been going on since the last time? Let's see, I have just come back from a beach trip, which on so many levels was interesting, because it was a beach trip organized by one of the nurses I worked with years ago. So this group of nurses, and we were all OB nurses, either labor and delivery, NICU, nursery, postpartum. We were all in the OB department. And I'm talking, I started there like 35 years ago, and the last 10 years of my career was working with the OR. And so this group of nurses are nurses that I worked with over maybe almost 20 years ago. And it was an amazing time. It was an amazing time because we were nurses together when our children were young. So we were all in the thick of it. We were in the thick of being working moms, raising our children, grammar school, high school, the ups and downs of all of that life dishes you as a mother, wife, employee, all of it. And there is a connection that still exists very strong in this group. It is the first time I've actually been able to hang out with them for a whole weekend like this. Most of the time I've had something else going on, but this just worked out perfect. And now we are all senior citizens. We are all senior citizens and have raised our kids. And so there's a common thread if you're new to this channel, it is about cross-stitch. But there is a common thread that is the same for all people as they pass through life. There is a common thread. There are events and experiences and losses and joys that maybe are different from each other, but there is a common thread to the human existence. And so I came away from that totally in awe of that group of women. Totally in awe. And I had intended to do all kinds of stitching. You know, there's like 4 or 5 that are into stitching, but hardly any stitching got done. I'm here to tell you, I was amazed that I did not. Here you have a whole weekend at the beach. I mean, 4 days at the beach, and I hardly got any stitching done because there was too much living going on. And walking on the beach, this particular beach town has miles of flat beach, and it was amazing. It rained off and on, and so you had that whole Oregon coast weather, which was fabulous and refreshing and refreshing. And it was so fun to see how life had opened up and moved us forward from where we started to now. And boy, does it just make you feel like life is a gift. Life is a gift. Now, majority of them were pickleball players, so there was a lot of pickleball going on. I, on the other hand, am not a pickleball player, and I've been told several times that I should be because I used to be a tennis player. I played college tennis, and my mother was the ping pong champion of South Korea. That's what she told us anyway. And she never let us win. I mean, I don't know how many balls I could have swallowed playing ping pong with her. But I don't know. I'll just let the pickleball players play pickleball. And so I enjoyed just being at the beach with these amazing women. These amazing women. So that's what I did last week. I know. And I was so, I drove over by myself, and that required me to put my big girl panties on because normally I am a passenger. I like to be a passenger because in fact, I told G yesterday, I said, I think I used to be a dog in my former life. And he burst out laughing, and he goes, why do you say that? We were driving to Home Depot. And I said, because I just love looking out the window. I like looking at people's yards, what they've done to their yards, what they plant, buildings, what's going on over there. I mean, really, if it wasn't so cold yesterday, I would have rolled the window down and hung my head out with my tongue wagging. But yeah, I could have been a dog in a former life. So to be a driver by myself through an area of Oregon that has no cell service took some big girl panties, and I had a pair. So I drove over by myself because everyone else, the hospital we worked at was in Central Oregon, so they were coming over a different pass than I was coming. It's a less driving time. It took me less than 3 hours to get from here to the coast where we were meeting up. And so I listened to book, and I was listening to The Body Keeps the Score, blowing my mind. It is blowing my mind. And a lot of thinking, So the drive was was interesting for me because I don't do it very often like that. And now I have that on my abilities to be okay, because my check tire lights came on, and I realized that I didn't have cell service, and so I was trying to figure out what to do, but the car was driving fine. I couldn't figure it out. So when I finally got to the next town, in Oregon, we're all about Les Schwab. They're a tire company, and just like I remember, you drive up to Les Schwab and some young guy is running out to help you. Yeah, so he checked and it was fine. Well, on the way home, I was exhausted, as you can imagine. I was exhausted from not too much, but so much fun. And I made it as far as Acorns and Threads. I know. I made it as far as Acorns and Threads. I decided I needed to stop there and then freshen up a bit, and then and then I could go from Acorns and Threads to home. And that's where I picked up this, it was waiting for me, and the gift card was waiting for me, and it was just so wonderful. It was just, it's not expected, but boy, did it tickle me. And so turned out that I had some things waiting in the box that I had pre-ordered. So I will show you those in a minute. But I wanted to tell you, when I was there's about 3 or 4 towns over from where we were staying, beach towns. And this particular town is called Tillamook, Oregon. And if they have a quilt shop there, and if you're interested in that, you can go over to Quilt Roadies, and I did a walk around of that quilt shop. But I didn't at that time, when I did the video, have time to stop at the Latimer Textile and Quilt Center. And so this time we went. A small group of us opted for a little field trip. And it was absolutely wonderful. It was absolutely wonderful. And it was about all kinds of textiles, like weaving, quilting, all of that stuff. And I will talk more about that on the Quilt Roadie channel. But I did find a shelf. There were like 3 or 4 shelves of books that were $1 a piece. And so I kind of flipped through them, and I found 2 wonderful books. Remember the Reader's Digest craft books? Well, this was a Reader's Digest, The Sampler Motif by Brenda Keyes, with traditional cross-stitch designs and alphabets. So I got this book for $1. Can you believe it? And it is filled with just wonderful, wonderful motifs and alphabets. And oh, it's just fabulous. I mean, look at this one right here. Yeah, so that was a great find. And then the second book that I got was called Expressions of Love, Women's Day Prize Winning Cross-Stitch Samplers. And you can tell by that color pink what era that is from. But there were so many amazing charts in here. And even though that color theme of that, you know, that blue and pink that they used a lot back then, it's just a matter of changing the color, and you have something that's more, well, look at the cover of this, the color. So yeah, but I felt like, wow, I'd scored. So for $2 I got both those books. Yeah. Well, when I got to, well, let me show you what progress I've been making. I did not take this to the coast with me because I didn't want to take, it was a large amount of thread, and I just didn't want to do it. And no one's to bother me. So I'm working on still, or I shouldn't say still, I am continuing to stitch on my grandson's stocking. A shepherd's bush stocking, and this one was called Richard. And I am on the home stretch. So I'm now finishing the little motifs that are on the toe, the bottom of the foot, the bottom of the sock. So I just have all these little things here at the bottom. And I am back to working on this as the designated stitch in the evening. And it was kind of nice to just take a little break and not bring it with me. The stitch that I took with me was, because I thought, well, this will be, if I make a mistake, it won't make a difference kind of stitch. I mean, it's kind of nice to have that kind of stitch, but it's this particular one, Bent Creek. And I got the line all the way across. So this is the size of it. The total size of it is right here. And now I am working on the alphabet and the trees and just kind of marching it along, enjoying this. You know, when you get to a point in a stitch where you can almost taste the end, it's almost like a good cup of coffee, and you just want to finish it. Yeah. So, that's the thing that I took, although I only stitched on it a couple times when I was there. Yeah. I did stop, as I told you, on the way back from the coast. I was tired, wah, 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 and I felt a need to stop for a break, and had some time at Acorns and Threads and picked up some things that I had pre-ordered, and then had a lovely lunch with my friends Janine and Jennifer, and that was really a nice break, and it invigorated me for the 30-minute drive home from there. But let me show you what was in my box that I had pre-ordered. I just loved this. And this particular stitch, Kesslin Designs, came with this box. It's not real big, but this stitch is like a pillow that fits in this box. And Joseph's Workshop, made in the USA. And Janine at Acorns of Threads has these bucks and this pattern. And when I saw this particular pattern, it was a no-brainer. I mean, it's one of those ones like, why, you know, there's no discussion like, oh, you have too much stuff, you shouldn't do it, you should. There was none of that alter ego carrying on, and this was a must-have. And it's peppermint and pine, and I got this at Acorns and Threads, designed by Brenda Gervais, because we love everything with Thy Needle and Thread. We love everything. And look at this. I love all three of them. I do. I love all three of them. Yeah. So that, and the next two things were the Inspiration magazine. Janine carries this in her shop, and the reason being, I normally have not, I don't think I own any other ones, but look at the cover. I mean, really, really. So I had to buy that one. And then she asked me if I had this, and I said I wasn't sure, but I didn't think so. And yeah, it was another one of those. Peppermint and Holly. This is a Barb and Alma's, it's a reprint, like they re-released it. So you can get on the bandwagon and get this. This is an older book. It also has punch needle in it, but there was one in particular that I really, really loved. And that was, let me see if I can find it. Oh yeah, that was this one. And what cracks me up is that the initials, I have to just put them opposite than what they are, and it's my initials. So that doesn't even require any brain cells. Peppermint and holly. And then my sweet Janine gifted me this bag, which was made by Corey, and it's out of toweling. I can't even get over it. Crafty Corey stitches for acorns and threads, and it is like, I am so excited because look at this bag. I would have never even thought of taking a towel that, you know, like a special towel you have, and actually making a bag out of it. I would have never thought of that. But isn't that gorgeous? And so here's the question I have. I lucked out because let me tell you, the morning I was leaving for the coast was also the morning that we had to take Penny in to get serviced. And the appointment to drop off was 7:30. 8 o'clock was the bell ringing time to sign up for sampler symposium at the Attic Needlework shop in Mesa, Arizona. And so it was like, and I was packed and ready to go to the beach. So all these things were happening at the same time. And what I found out, which worked, was I wrote my email that I wanted to be able to participate in Sampler Symposium in January. And I'm not a big sampler person, but I'm always open to possibilities, and I think the camaraderie is what I really enjoy. And then there's the attic. Yeah, I mean, really. So I wrote my email, and then I noticed that on my phone you can schedule delivery, date and time. And so I did that because I didn't know when, you know, driving to the dealership, if it was all going to work out. So I said, well, if I get to go, if it was meant to be, it was meant to be. And it turns out that my email fell in that group that get to go, which was really awesome. So when I got this from Janine, it's absolutely the perfect bag. Look at this charm for a sampler symposium. I realized I had to have a start. I wanted to start something, some sampler that I had, already have it started before I go. So for November, I am going to start a sampler. And here's the question I have. There are 3. Now, mind you, I'm not going to have it finished by the time I go in January, but I wanted to have one going that I could take with me. Let me clarify that. So here are the 3, and I'm just curious on what you like the best. So, Needlework Press, Be a Friend. Needlework Press, and Be Kind to One Another. And then I am not sure. Now, as I understand it, samplers are samplers because they have alphabet and numbers. I think that's the designation of, because I mean, this bag has samplers and numbers and writing and stuff, but I'm throwing this one in the mix. I actually, and the picture doesn't do it justice, let me just say, but when I saw it, the model hanging at the attic, I fell in love with it. And Janine kitted it up for me. And this is, it's called Mary Duckmanton, 1828. Oh, it was really beautiful. So one of these three I'm going to start in November and then bring it with me in my new project bag by Crafty Cory Stitches and take it to Mesa with me. Yeah, I hope I see some of you there. Meet new and old friends. So what else happened this week? Okay, I'm even boring myself right now. I'm looking around to see, is there anything exciting happening right now? No. Well, the most exciting thing that happened yesterday was I got an email from Jacob, Modern Folk Embroideries, because I'm signed up on that list. That's a dangerous hole right there. And I had swore that I was not going to do any sales. Well, I'm not a sal person. I'm like Robin, Lady Robiness, stitch along, not, no, start along. A start along. I'm going, no, I don't do stitch along. But this is a stitch along by Jacob of Modern Folk Embroidery. And when I saw it, I just wanted to scream because it wasn't like I had any choice. I was like possessed. It was like the reverse of, it was like a possession. There actually should be a movie about cross-stitch possession because that is what happened. And I'm not the only one because I had this little back and forth conversation with Erin, whose floss tube is 2 martini stitches, and it was like, yeah, neither of us intended to do a stitch along, but when I saw it, and he already had it all divided up for the year, so it's a year-long stitch. I mean, I couldn't say no. So you're just going to have to go check it out. So this is for the SAL, Modern Folk Embroidery SAL for 2024. I can't tell you, I loved everything about it. I loved the clock, the celestial motifs, the elk, the squirrels, the birds, the plants, the symmetry, and when you go look at it, here's the big thing. When you go look at it, and if you purchase it, it's already divided up by the month, what you have to get done. And I thought, maybe I need, see, this is why I'm justifying it all. Maybe I need to have a little bit of a challenge. Maybe I need to, explore that part of myself that thinks that a SAL is a start along and not a stitch along. Maybe I need to think about that thing. And then he put this out, which are the different colorways you could do it in. And so when Erin started talking to me about this, or I started talking to her, and then she responded, she asked what colorway I was going to do, and I said, I'm actually going into therapy for it because I have no idea. It's like I want to do all the colorways. I want to do all of them. And to choose one, yeah. So you're going to want to check that out because misery loves company. Let me just say, misery loves company. And Aaron and I need more company. Yeah, because we are both in. We are in deep. It's not even November yet, and I've already pre-printed the PDF for January. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it was just in the nick of time in terms of when I got home. I have, when you walk in my front door, there's a church pew there. We have had that church pew. We have hauled that church pew with us through at least 12 moves. Yeah. Right now it's got all the Halloween pillows and the decor on it and stuff. But when I got home from the beach, that church pew inside the front door, I came in the back door. I started to walk up the stairs, hauling all my stuff up there. I saw a beautiful little project bag sitting there. And I said, "What is that?" And he said, "Well, look in it." The iPad. I mean, I was so shocked that I was convinced that that was the iPad that I'd recently gotten. But when I turned it on, I realized it was the other iPad that I had somehow misplaced. And I was like, where did you find that? And I know many of you are going to go, "I told you so," but I was convinced I never left the house with it. As it turned out, there is above the driver and passenger seat of Penny, there is a space where we put the window coverings, our walking sticks, and shove our sweatshirts in. And I looked up there. I mean, I did. I looked up there, but I'm short compared to G. And when he was cleaning everything out, that iPad had slid all the way to the front. I would have never seen it because I can't. It's dark, and I couldn't see that far down. I'm not tall enough to see, and so yeah. The floss was not on there. Just saying. In case anybody asks, the floss was not up there. Okay, so there we go. Mea culpa, mea culpa, mea culpa. Yeah. I hope that you have a wonderful end of October, fabulous Halloween. I hope that enough kids come to your house that it makes you feel good, because I love those little dressed up kids, but not so many that you don't have candy left over for yourself. Thank you. We'll see you next time. Think about the stitch along. Just saying, Aaron and I, misery loves company. See you next time. Love you guys.